In this podcast series, we educate dog owners, veterinary practices, and dog trainers using humane methods. My name is Scott Sheaffer, and it's my mission to help you better understand your dog's behavior. Welcome back to the USA Dog Behavior Podcast. I'm Scott Sheaffer, certified dog behaviorist. Today's episode is titled, How You're Accidentally Making Your Dog More Fearful or Aggressive. This is a subject that surprises a lot of dog owners when they first hear it, and it can make a huge difference, however, in how you interact with your dog. Did you know that sometimes the person accidentally cueing a dog's fear or aggression is the owner? And by cue, I mean a signal from the owner to the dog. This signal can be obvious or very subtle, as you'll see. Now, before anyone gets defensive, this isn't about blame. I'm never in that when it comes to dog behavior, dog training, that kind of stuff. Never like to even imply the owners have done something wrong. Counterproductive. Almost every owner I work with is trying very hard to help their dog. The problem is that some of the ways people try to help actually sends the wrong message to the dog. Dogs are incredibly good at reading us, and sometimes what we communicate unintentionally can reinforce the very behavior we're trying to prevent. Let me describe a scenario that happens all the time. It's a good example. You're walking your dog and you see someone approaching. Maybe it's another dog, maybe it's a stranger, doesn't really matter. Your dog notices them and begins to stiffen or show concern. They're getting nervous. They don't like this thing that's coming toward them. So what do many dog owners do? They immediately start talking to the dog. It's okay. You're fine. He's nice. Don't worry. It makes perfect sense from a human perspective. We're trying to just reassure the dog. But here's the problem. Dogs don't interpret those words the way that we do. They don't understand language. Even though they've lived with us for 10, 15 years, they still have never figured out our language. They're not processing the logical meaning of the sentence. What they're noticing is the change in your behavior, however. Your voice changes. Your attention suddenly focuses on them. Your body posture shifts. You tighten up on the leash. To the dog, that change itself can become meaningful information. I've written before about certain commands or phrases that people commonly use with their dogs that can actually make things worse. Often these are delivered right at the moment the dog is already feeling uncertain about something in the environment. Can you see how the timing of this is so important? So from the dog's perspective, the sequence becomes predictable and scary. Something unfamiliar happens or appears, and suddenly the owner's behavior changes. And after enough repetitions, the dog starts associating the owner's reaction with the appearance of a threat. Dogs evolved to be extremely skilled observers of human behavior. And if you've had several dogs in your life, you'll know that that is a very true statement. They pick up on things like our posture changes, leash tension, our tone of voice, our movement patterns, even subtle shifts can stand out to a dog. And I would even argue that sometimes I think the subtle shifts are more important than the big ones to a dog. Now, combine that with something else we know. When owners anticipate their dog reacting, they often become tense themselves. That tension can show up in a lot of ways. The leash gets shorter, the handler's posture tightens, the voice becomes more urgent, and the dog is watching all of it. Over time, something interesting can happen. The dog begins to recognize the owner's behavior as the predictor of the threat, or one of the predictors of the threat. In other words, the sequence becomes Owner spots something concerning. Owner tightens the leash. Owner starts talking to the dog, and the dog thinks something bad must be happening again. At that point, the dog isn't only reacting to the stranger or the other dog, they're additionally reacting to the signals their handler is sending. And when I say handler, of course, the person with the leash. And many owners have no idea they're doing it. In fact, I would say that the vast majority of owners have no idea they're doing this. Another piece of this puzzle is our emotional state. Dogs are also very sensitive to human stress and tension. They can tell when we are stressed and tense. If the handler becomes anxious or anticipates a problem, the dog often detects that change immediately. That doesn't mean owners are intentionally making their dog worse. It just means that dogs are excellent at picking up on subtle emotional cues. Over time, that pattern can actually reinforce the dog's fear response. So now that we know this, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? Well, fortunately, there's a lot of things that we can do about it once we become conscious of it. A lot of things that you can do about it with your dog now that you're aware. The goal isn't to ignore the dog or pretend their fear doesn't exist. That's not what we're doing here. The goal is to remove the signals that unintentionally confirm the dog's suspicion that something is wrong. Some helpful strategies include, let me give you 3 simple ones. Maintaining neutral and predictable behavior when potential triggers appear. 2, avoiding sudden changes in voice, speed, or posture that the dog may interpret as your concern or worry. Number 3, and working through structured desensitization and counter-conditioning exercises so the dog can gradually learn new associations. And this can be done with the help of a skilled dog behaviorist or a dog trainer who has significant experience using positive methods in that strategy. One of the most powerful things a handler can communicate to a dog is calm, predictable behavior. With my private clients, I always like to say the 3 C's. We always want to be cool, calm, and collected, especially when working with a fearful or aggressive dog. Dogs feel safer when the information they receive from their handler is stable and consistent. What have we talked about today? Let's quickly review. Fearful and aggressive dogs are often extremely sensitive to the behavior of the people handling them. When owners unintentionally change their tone, posture, speed, or tension on the leash, at the moment a trigger appears, that shift can act as a signal that something is wrong to the dog. The good news is that once owners understand these patterns, they can start changing them. And when that happens, dogs often begin to feel safer and more confident in situations that once triggered fear or aggression. Understanding how our behavior influences our dog isn't just helpful, it's often one of the most important steps in helping them improve. Thanks for listening. You can visit usadogbehavior.com for lots of dog behavior resources. Almost all of them are free, including videos, blog articles, and past podcast episodes to help you understand your dog. If today's episode helped you, a quick rating or review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen really helps other dog owners find the show. See you next time. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with other dog lovers. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll continue our dive into the world of dog behavior.